My interest in these is I was in the Air Force from 1969 to 1978, and when I first started I had a range of aircraft that I was skilled up on, stuff that the older ones will probably remember: Vampires, Wingeals, Canberra bombers and the old Gurney Bird. And I was in 38 Squadron, I was in 10 Squadron. I came in about the time that this one had the prang in the 10 Squadron. And I spent most of my time 10, 35 Squadron, and I left because they wanted to they made a decision that they were going to hand over all the rotary wing. I was on Iroquois and Caribous at that stage, and they decided that they're going to hand them over to the transfer them to the Army, and if I wanted to stay there I had to go with it, and I put up the argument that grunts can't fly. And so I decided to my time was up, and so I just didn't re-sign. So I have very affectionate memories of this aircraft. I remember the last time I flew in one of these, believe it or not, I actually chartered it in Cairns and flew up with the pilot and co-pilot to Pomperow. And they waited for me while myself and an old mate of mine from Pomperow, Eddie Holroyd, we went out and we had to catch some crocodiles. And I took 10 crates with me. In anticipation, we were opening the crocodile section of what was then the bird park, later become Wild World in Australia Tropical Zoo. They asked, Harry Freeman had asked me to go and catch some crocs. And we took 10 crates in anticipation, but we caught 13. A little bit better than we went, all around about the 8-9 foot mark, all males. Anyway, when we come here to load them, the pilot said there was 3 that I didn't have crates for. I had a bag over their head and I had them tied up, and the pilot said under no circumstances are you going to put uncrated crocodiles on my aircraft. Well, there was quite a long debate on it. I explained to him that I worked on them and I knew them quite well, and he said, eventually I convinced him, but he said, before you put them on, he said, I've got to show you where all the hydraulics and the cables are. He said, you've got to carry your sidearm with you, and if one of them plays up, don't shoot here and don't shoot there. And I said, well, look, I know where these cables are, I worked on them. He said, well, you dispatch it straight away, but he said, before you load them, we're going to get into the cockpit, we're going to shut the door, and when we land in Cairns, you unload those 3 unrestrained animals before we get out. And so that was the condition that I had to take these animals back. I thought it would be pretty easy, but I can tell you, as we took off, what I didn't factor in, the impact that altitude has on crocodiles. And the 3 unrestrained ones went absolutely ballistic. And I was spread-eagled over the top of them, trying to hold them down, but crocs generally give up pretty easy and they settle down after a period of time. But I did unclip the sidearm. I was looking, thinking, rightio, I'm going to have to put one of these darn things down, but fortunately it didn't happen. I actually have a photo here. I'm going to show it. There's me unloading the crocodiles out of a DC-3. So if you're interested, come and have a look at it. There was 13 of them in there, but that's just a little bit of story. You know, you talk about all the things that these carried, from VIPs to Jeeps. Well, they also carried crocodile. They were the Crocodile Express. It's another name you can use for your gurneys. But thanks for the invitation, and it's lovely to have you here.